Sheduer Sanders is going to make his first start Sunday at 4, and I'm going to be very curious to see how he does against this Las Vegas Raiders defense. Sheduer kind of got thrust mid-game against one of the better defenses in the NFL, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does with a full week of preparation. This was his first play against the Ravens, and it was a pretty easy one. This receiver is going to be getting some good cushion over here, and they're going to send Sheduer on design rollout. A pretty easy play to start things off against a pretty good defense. And it works pretty well. Sheduer throws it on time and they get it to Tillman. Shedeur's accuracy is going to make plays like this a viable option for the Browns offense. He is a pocket quarterback after all, and he can run an offense in the short and quick game. He has the accuracy to do that. And I think that first play proves that. Sheduer has no problem taking what the defense gives to him, and I think this play proves that. The Ravens are going to play a deep zone right here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drop back. That's going to leave David Njoku wide open with a pretty good cushion to run against. Now, while it's nice to see Sheduer take what the defense gives to him, really a high level play would be if he held onto the ball for a beat longer and waited for these linebackers to come up so he could deliver the ball to the receiver who was a one-on-one with the defensive back. The thing is, Sheduer doesn't need to do this in his first ever start. I'm cool with him making plays like these. That's still a positive gain, 8 to 9 yards. And this was also his second pass of the game. So again, this is not pressuring him or anything. Of course, though, he isn't perfect. As the game continued, the Ravens decided to dial up the blitz and pressure Sheduer Sanders, and this is where he struggled. Ravens really capitalized on Shedeur's inability to dissect the blitz, and despite him having good playmaking chops, he just isn't good under pressure, if that makes sense. Let me show you. Ravens are given a blitz look up front here. Ravens are going to be showing a blitz front up here. And Shedeur's going to have multiple hot passes to go to. David Njoku is going to be running a crosser. Jerry Jeudy is going to be running a quick outbreaker. This receiver is going to be running an inbreaker. And the outside guy is going to be running a shorter one. Looking at this front right here, Sheduer has to be prepared for the blitz and be prepared for at least the middle of the field to be wide open when David Njoku eventually runs this drag route. He isn't at all. And while the blitz comes, David Njoku is wide open over the middle of the field, and he's looking the complete opposite direction. Here's the thing, though. He still has this guy that's going to be coming in on the inbreaker, and that's going to have none of these defensive backs close enough to make a play. If Sheduer throws it to him right here, it should at the very least be a completion. This is a very beatable call from the Ravens. And even though he missed the initial wide open read, the receiver is still probably going to be open. But he deals with the pressure so poorly that he ends up ruining the play. This is what I mean when I say Sheduer has playmaking chops, but he's a bad playmaker. And we'll see more of that soon. Also, by the way, great leaps here from number 30 to prevent that passing lane. Still, though, Sheduer probably should have saw Njoku wide open right here. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton too. Jesus Christ, that guy is crazy. Let's get to the next play. Okay, listen, Shedeur's only thrown 3 pass attempts. Maybe he's just nervous, maybe he has a jitters, and eventually he'll. Oh, okay, never mind. Despite this rep ending in an interception, I don't think this was his worst rep of the day. I think he showed some positive things here. Now, with the success the Ravens had blitzing him last time and the way they disoriented him completely, they again give a blitz look. This time, though, Sheduer knows his hot route instantly. It's Njoku right over here. That's a stark difference to what happened last time with Njoku. He preps the throw, loads up, and then he gets absolutely decked while he's throwing the ball. It ends up sailing and landing in the safety's hands, and that turns out to be his first interception. If I were to place blame here, I'd probably place it on David Njoku and not Sheduer. David Njoku had the hot route right here. David Njoku had the hot route right here. But instead of running it, he kind of hesitated a little bit before going into his route. And when it was time to throw, Sheduer ended up throwing the ball a tick too late, and that caused the interception. Again, this may look like the worst rep on the stat sheet, but I actually saw positive things here from Sheduer. He was decisive, he was on time, but Njoku running a little bit late caused the interception. I think the most interesting thing over this game is Shadir's evolution against the blitz, right? Like the Ravens blitzed him early and it worked instantly the first time. But as the game got deeper and deeper, he seemed to get more comfortable around it and he seemed to find ways to beat it. Still, though, Shadur had his issues outside of the blitz. Ravens are going to give a man coverage a look, and these two receivers at the top are going to run some form of in-breaking route, while Njoku is going to run a short out, and Jerry Judy is going to run a deeper out. Now you can see as the routes develop downfield, Shadur gets instantly affected by the pressure. And this is one of his problems and one of the reasons the blitz works against him so well. Despite the fact that there's 5 yards of separation between him and the defensive lineman, Shadur pulls his eyes away from the read and focuses on the pressure. If he stood straight in the pocket, he may have realized that he had a one-on-one with Jerry Judy and could have attempted to fit in a pass to a guy with separation. Instead, he tries to make a move on the guy and ends up just getting torn to the ground. This is what I mean when I say he has playmaking chops, but isn't a good playmaker. As he's clearly talented at evading sacks to an extent, but he has playmaker syndrome where he holds onto the ball too long and focuses on the pressure instead of standing still in the pocket. And to be honest, he's not a good enough playmaker for that to work out ever. Now, a lot of Sheduer Sanders truthers are saying his statistical output from the Browns game should be discounted because of how terrible the supporting cast is. And while I never want to feed excuses to people who are weirdly obsessed with a young quarterback succeeding, I will say that they kind of have a point. This play is going nowhere, right? Like, nowhere. Ravens, again, are showing blitz because that worked out every single time they did it. And the Browns are going to have multiple long developing routes that they're going to try to work out. Except the Ravens end up bluffing it and dropping 3 linebackers away from the line and only rushing 4. So, theoretically, the Browns should have more time to throw. There's going to be 2 inbreakers on this side. Njoku is going to run some form of an outbreaker, and this guy is going to run another inbreaker. The 2 linebackers are going to drop deep into coverage and take away these inbreakers. And quite frankly, if you want me to be honest, there's going to be nothing open, like at all. There is no window for anything to happen here. These guys are almost running into each other right here. Jerry Judy is getting clamped up right here, and Roquan Smith is lurking if he even decides to throw this. Njoku, who was supposed to be running an out route, is in a wrestling match with his guy. And Sheduer Sanders in the backfield is getting chased down by 1, 2, 3 defensive linemen, I think. This is a dead play right here. Now, you may say that he probably should have thrown to this running back, check it down, which, yeah, I don't mind that take, but I also don't blame Shadur for trying to make something happen out of nothing, really. And all things considered, he does a pretty good job and gets like 6 or 7 yards. And I want to stress you the fact that despite the Ravens only rushing 4, they still got like instant pressure on him. Shadur had to run from the pocket immediately. Nothing really worked out for them, but still a good game nonetheless. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to give a lot of hope, but I think this is where Shadur started to turn the corner a little bit. I feel like the jitters was out a little bit more, and he was actually reading the field well and making comparative to his early downs pretty good decisions. Right here, he throws a pretty accurate ball in a tight window that Harold Fannin just drops. Honestly, now the Browns are down by 7 at this point. They've not had a lot of offense all day, and Shadur is trying to get his first game-winning drive of his career. Harold Fannin's going to run a in breaking route. This guy's going to run a clear out post route. David Njoku's going to settle down somewhere right here, and there's going to be other checkdowns in the area. If you remember, this is a similar-ish look post snap to what was the second pass attempt, if you remember. So watch this right here. These linebackers are going to drop all the way down, and this safety is going to drop all the way down. And with Fanning running an in-breaking route over midfield and Njoku running a check down right here creates some kind of levels concept similar to the second pass attempt that Shitter made. And in that second pass attempt, I didn't criticize him, but I noted how he had a window to throw it pass the linebackers in that situation. I'll probably pull it up in the corner and fit it to the deeper route. In that second pass attempt, he didn't do it. But in this one, he fires a dot to Harold Fannin over the middle of the field for what I think was his play of the day. Sheduer has top-notch accuracy, especially as a pocket passer when he has time to throw the ball. Him fitting it right here to Fannin around one, two, three, four defenders. That is pretty impressive, especially on a game-winning drive too. The next play is, I don't want to say this, but it's another high-ish level play from Sheduer Sanders. Now, Jerry Jeudy right here, he's going to be running a curl route. That's the really only route that's going to be important here. And the Ravens, who have been blitzing all night, are going to try to get Sheduer right here on a bluff. So they're going to make it look like the nickel is coming up and Roquan Smith is coming up. And then as soon as the ball snaps, they're going to bail out and drop into their zones. This is not a bad theory for the Ravens, who, and again, this is not a bad idea for the Ravens because they've been blitzing all night and they're hoping to confuse Sheduer Sanders with the bluff and bait him into making a mistake. And this is where I get kind of excited about Sheduer Sanders because he kind of displays high level ability. The most important thing about the bluff is to try to fit it through a lane, a passing lane that's going to try to be intercepted by defensive backs or the linebackers. What Sheduer Sanders does right here is that he uses his eyes to manipulate Roquan Smith to kind of freeze right where he is and to open up that lane to Jerry Jeudy. Watch how he, again, keeps his head on straight, causes Roquan Smith to shift left and open that passing lane for Jerry Jeudy. It's so weird because he displays this high level quarterbacking ability on occasion. He's a very polished player. He could do shit like this on a regular occurrence. Of course, the throw was incomplete, but again, that was pretty good. Another good rep from Sheduer. This is also something I want to mention from Sheduer. This is also on the last drive. There was clear growth from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, right? So the Ravens initially they blitzed him a lot. They exploited his some of his flaws and were able to get some good reps and sacks on him. They also exploited a pretty bad Browns offensive line. You're even seeing on this drive how he's adjusted to what the Ravens were throwing to him. The Ravens tried to throw some blitzes at him, and then they tried to do some bluffs, which would have worked on a good amount of rookie quarterbacks. But he was able to not only not really fall for the tricks, but he was able to dissect some of these plays pretty well. I want to point out this one. This ended up in an incompletion, by the way. But again, another good rep. The Ravens are going to send a nickel blitz to Sheduer Sanders, meaning he has a free rusher. Again, we saw in past reps how with pressure, Sheduer would look down and panic, but the instant recognition tells him that, oh, hey, there's two defensive backs on this side, and there's two wide receivers on this side. The closest guys that could potentially defend this play is what? 30-year-old linebacker Roquan Smith, or these two safeties who are across the field. The outside wide receiver is going to be running a deep route, and Jerry Jeudy is going to be running an out route. And seeing that nickel go on that blitz right there, he instantly recognizes, oh shit, I have a one-on-one deep shot for the tie. Now again, to be honest, I don't think this means he's overcame his flaws with dealing with pressure because the pressure wasn't really in his face. He wasn't really uncomfortable with it. But that quick recognition is another good trait of his. It allowed him to recognize this and throw, I'm not going to say a great ball, but a catchable ball, which almost ended up being a touchdown for the tie. This is really good coverage by number 3, by the way. Ravens are a super talented team. Good play after good play.